Just 1 second. You throw it. It's right now. YouTube is cranking. Not getting ready. Almost there. It's 3/4 there. You'll be reading, okay? Ready to go. You're on.
You're up. You're on, Kenny.
All right, I'm gonna bring the meeting to order, 6:01, Monday, the 9th of September. Everybody please join us in the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Would you like to lead us off?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that was touching.
All right, everybody, we have any adjustments or changes to the agenda? I have one for an announcement. I'll do it here after we finish this off. Will, you have one?
Yeah, I want to add possibility of starting a green space committee.
Okay. All right, for the Board of Trustees, Eric and myself, I received an email at 7:30 this morning from GiGi Beach. It reads, "Good morning, Kim. Please consider this email notice of my resignation as village trustee effective immediately." So,
Make a motion to accept the resignation. Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. So Rosemary, our next line of procedure on that would be to request you to put out a notice for letter of intent. And
That could go on News and Citizen and Front Porch Forum.
Sure. Also, why not? Seems like.
I'd say all your standard places you normally do, any announcements like that?
Do you want to have a special meeting or you want to just do it at your next regular meeting?
So
How long do we have to warn it for?
No, if there's any specific time you have to.
So what we could do is we would, cause if we get, people that wanna do it, we would do an interview if there's more than one. And then proceed with a vote, kind of like nomination.
Let's do that. This is a special meeting in a couple weeks then. I think. That way we can get someone back on the board, get them up to speed or try to. Okay.
So what would you think would be good for a timeline, 2 weeks? For notice?
Mhm.
Alright, well, let's see.
I should look and see when the News and Citizen, but that I don't, that one is today. Isn't it?
I am not sure about that, so I
think
guess,
it's today,
If it's on front porch and then. There's a citizen.
For the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
After.
we could put it on the website. And we could put it out on the village Facebook page.
You guys want to do that?
Poss- Possibly share it on the town Facebook page also if they're willing.
Can't do Monday or Tuesday.
Would Monday, the 23rd work for the board?
No, BJ says no. Can you zoom in?
He likes Wednesdays.
Huh?
Said BJ likes Wednesdays.
The 25th work?
Well, we need to be a Thursday, to be honest, it would have to be a Thursday or Friday, because I got a dentist.
So
okay with me.
As long as I don't have to be here. I have my second surgery that day, my eyes,
Oh, yep.
On what day, Rosemary?
25th.
Alright, so today's the 9th, so
26 is our monthly meetings for our department, so.
27th?
Let's be early.
That's a Friday.
I can do the 27th.
I'm good with whatever, so as long as you guys
I'm
can,
good. Right, 27? 27?
27th.
is that gonna work for you, Rosemary, or are you still gonna be down and out?
Taking,
No.
Taking Friday.
That day.
be in the kingdom. Was the intent,
You're meeting the kingdom.
yeah, it's,
Well, I mean,
So this special
if you're,
meeting,
if you're okay with it, we're just gonna take interviews or appoint, so.
this special meeting, we wouldn't actually necessarily require Eric to be here, but we would need Rosemary if we appoint anybody to swear him in. If we don't appoint, then we send it to a special election.
Yeah.
You guys aware of how that would proceed?
And if you do appoint, then do they run in a?
April.
That is run for,
The next election, they'd be up for election, no matter what the term is,
so our meeting will be the 27th,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. If we have any applicants.
Correct.
If we do not have any applicants by the 26th. Is that fair time notice to
Yeah.
cancel the meeting?
No problem.
Okay, any other adjustments or changes? All right, we need to review and approve minutes from trustee meeting August 12th, 2024.
Make a motion to accept it as written.
Second.
Any discussion on the matter? All in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Motion passes. Treasury report, Rosemary.
Pass out a budget status report. And, village taxes are due on Friday.
Just put mine in the box.
They've been coming in steadily. Since we gave them an extra almost 30 days. But it'll be good.
Anything Tourangeau on any of this, Rosemary?
Last year's. That's very good.
Well, that's concerning.
See, I was just gonna say, the 10 cents on the grand list, town's gonna pay it next month, but. it's good. I can go down and. The auditors are coming September 30th for the whole week. According to the, Ron Smith, who is in managing department of the firm,
And they're coming when?
September 30th.
Did we get a cost analysis on that yet? Or-
That was. We signed a contract last year.
Oh, we did, that's right, yep.
Yes, so much per year.
Yeah.
And I. Gave you guys a report of when reports are due by for the treasurer,
nice.
and I've broken down payroll, village report, and miscellaneous. And we're gonna start some training on Wednesday afternoon. Starting with payroll. And Susan's gonna write the SQI.
that's okay.
Okay.
Well. Oh, that bad day.
I gave a report of the big account balances. That's stuff.
Thank you.
And Union Bank is working on converting that $200,000 now. Into the fund.
What is it at right now?
It's due this week.
When you guys were able to authorize a 1 year. And then the voters authorized a 5 year.
They're gonna do a 5 year for the $200,000 one and another 1 year note for the $100,000.
It's electrical.
It's all
Oh, it is. Okay, good.
It's rates.
Great.
the rate increase is supposed to have sometime maybe beginning of the year.
Yep.
The rate increase probably would be effective.
In the,
sometime-
no, not for the end of January.
And we're not sure what that rate increase is gonna be yet, right?
Correct.
It will be less than we requested.
Maybe, there's rare times they come back. We thought it was co-op that got what they would. Enosburg did last year. So. But it is rare.
Nothing stood out to you and made you nervous, Rosemary?
Few things to done on the department.
Yeah.
Nothing major.
The transportation, fuel and oil, under miscellaneous expenses,
That's last year.
that's last year.
Yeah.
Right. You don't need to. You get that's the wrong kind of, she's gonna get you
I'll
the
get,
right one.
yeah,
Probably. I cover my report.
That's-
She's printing.
That's coming to an end right there, right? The whole fuel issue, that's starting, the numbers are with the pumps.
that
I
has
we
been.
saw
Yeah, that was resolved.
resolved.
Has been resolved.
Couple months ago.
Thought so, but I just want to make sure.
The town will reimburse the village for what he asked for.
have we put a new system in place there, or we're still
No.
same system?
We've got all our cards, so the town should not be. Any records. And the village consumption of gone
Way down.
way down.
Imagine that.
Some months it opens in it.
I like how you broke that down.
I know, it's like not that, yeah.
Is that interesting enough?
We kind of had this.
January for residential solar.
I was looking
You
for
go
the
to,
current
your
year,
actually must be have actual sun.
labor was. At like 97% for general. I want to see
More,
how much-
it's looking co-ops during January than
What the difference was. It was a tremendous
that should be like that.
decrease in the budget for general.
It's been a rainy for some.
That's why.
Last year, you had like
Not
97
like
total.
that. I mean, that was the winter, it's done out of water. Yeah. Yeah. Not weird.
Even with our savings for snowplow. We'll have to revisit that one. And then maybe just check and make sure they're coding proper work to the proper things from the crew, just to.
Yep.
Could be just an error somewhere chewing up some of that.
I
but
mean,
Has it
we-
been progressive getting
used
bigger,
to-
or is it just a big jump?
They don't have, well, there's some every week to general, but not like what there is in winter. There's a couple 3 hours a week.
we used to have an employee that pretty much tried to put everything he could to general. That issue is resolved, but. That they- they've had more. You know. we've had a lot of general work
There has been a lot of general work.
in the summer.
And there's gonna be more finishing up the cold
It's
spring.
gonna be a whole bunch of it this week. The cold spring is already busted up.
Yeah, I saw them they're getting working on that.
Well, so let's just keep a close eye on that one and write that down and just make sure we revisit that in budget season.
For side effects, every six affects social security tax. And
Yep.
retirement,
Yeah,
That's all it's got.
works comp. Anything else, Rosemary? Alrighty.
I got a question. The solar one is probably for Eric. So the solar, the residential solar, is that what we're putting out?
No,
Or is that
that's what's coming in.
Okay,
Just weird that January was the highest, well, January and February
February, March.
were high, and then the actual summer months, did someone take theirs offline or? And 2,600, 2,900, 1,900, 1,200, and then May, June, July, it's 300, 500, and 600. You think those numbers would be flipped? I just know if someone took a panel offline or something, or,
I know that she's been having some fun reconciling it with the new net metering law. It just came into effect because NIMRIC is still trying to figure out the program to make that all work. So it's been messing with the reconciliation on solar. So
okay,
that line, that particular line may not be accurate. Because it takes a little bit for NIMRIC to rewrite program for new laws.
okay.
Can you guys just put that one on your radar and
Yep.
highlight it for the next meeting and so that we can revisit it and see if we found any resolution? That work for the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing urgent, just
Nope.
but
Yeah.
just an odd number.
Yeah, she didn't even get this to me until, well, that was the last thing before I sent you guys out the packet.
Okay,
And it's like, she's like, this is 97%, like the net metering thing has got.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Anything else be down then?
No.
Well,
no, I think I'm good.
Steve,
No.
thank you very much, Rosemary. Eric.
Yep. Let me answer report. Well, boom truck replacement update. I went ahead and added a word, but. So Tori from LCPC found a grant from the Vermont Public Service Department called the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Grant. EECBG, which I don't get EECBG from that, but it's for municipalities to add energy efficiency to their operations. Grants are for awards of between $50,000 and $100,000 and require no match, but matching funds are preferred. Hybrid maintenance fleet trucks are one of the listed preferred projects. I had Nate get a quote for such a truck that would best fit our current replacement needs. And it finally came back at $249,000. With a $100,000 grant award, this puts us in a new truck versus a around 5-year-old one that we were looking for. And with expanded capabilities for less money, after trading our truck and all, it's less money overall. This type of hybrid runs the back end on battery. Unless the battery runs out, then you engage PTO off the diesel and engine that drives a truck. In our operations, greater than 90% of a bucket truck's runtime is the back end. Hybrid saves a huge amount of fuel, saves wear and tear on the engine, allows the crew to hear each other better, and removes the diesel fumes from their work zone. Nick and I are pretty excited about this possibility. With the board's consensus, I'm going to pursue this grant with the help from LCPC.
Yeah, I would, I don't know if you need a motion, but I'm definitely in favor of exploring this option
Yeah.
to its fullest potential.
My question is, when we were looking at buying the completely electric big truck, there was,
They weren't in production.
No, but it was efficiency credits or something we lost. Will this get us any of that back?
I hope so. I haven't looked. at
Did I say that right? Was it efficiency credits? or-
Yeah,
it was some kind of credits.
Renewable energy credits.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, it may, I don't know the answer at this time.
Yeah, because that helps us in our rate, correct?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and that truck, you know, while a cool idea. An all-electric truck whose job is to put the electric grid back online just doesn't seem like it has common sense to me.
Yeah, it didn't at the time. It won't for a while, but the hybrid part is a
The
Yeah,
hybrid, I'm very,
very good way to.
if it absolutely has to, we can run all of it on diesel,
Right.
but almost all the time you'll be sitting there running silent, not using diesel.
right, which is good for the people they're servicing as well as the work
Cause I
crew.
mean.
Yep.
Yep,
So our old small bucket truck's gotta be pushing 70,000 in trade-in, would you agree?
at least 30, maybe probably 60,
Believe it, yeah, it's gotta be up there, I mean.
yeah.
You
So
can't
that's-
buy a used car for 30.
We're guessing 50 to 60,
So that would put us under what we requested for a bump.
correct,
That's if we get the 100. If we
Right.
get, if we get the
If we get the
50,
100.
then it's, the
right,
numbers aren't quite as attractive, right?
right, but if we get the 100, you know, our bond can be a good bit smaller than what we got approved.
Now, have you looked at the same truck without the hybrid part, just to,
We've been looking at the,
instead of used,
Right.
saying new again, but without the hybrid bed?
well, then you wouldn't get the grant.
Correct. So, but would the price be that
Right.
high?
Nate hasn't got one of those quotes yet, but he's asked. I don't know why people don't want our money, but it's hard to get
Well, they
people.
do.
It's hard to get people to put their numbers out there.
So it's because it's a volatile market, that's why. So, I was just wondering if we looked at that to explore that option, because
Oh, yeah,
that could still put us at what we
We
asked
could-
for the bond
right,
and have a new truck, which would be able to keep
right.
5+ years longer than buying a 5-year-old truck.
Right. He is looking for getting as much truck as he can within the money limits he has with trade-in.
Okay, perfect. So is that enough for you to move forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Did the research on propane prices, and Jack Corse again has the best price at $1.63 per gallon. Barnes could have matched that if we owned our own tankage, but it all belongs to Corse.
Thank you for doing
Propane.
that.
Yep, the propane bid has been awarded to Jack Corse. They've already adjusted their account to show the reduction to that price.
You've notified the town.
It's for all, I haven't yet. It was last week. No, figured I'd notify you first. The utility pole on the bank of the Gihon next to the Union Bank has had much of its protective riprap washed down the river by floods, quite noticeably after this past July's flood. We'll get an estimate to repair it with even larger material to guard against future floods for $99,000. I have filed a FEMA Public Assistance Program application for DR 4810, which is the July 24 flood, to get assistance with that repair. This single claim should only require village staff to navigate the FEMA process.
So what, are you talking about the pole that's out in the field behind at the river's edge?
Right,
Because so it's not the one near the bank, it's
it's the
one
one kind of behind the bank out, you know, in the edge of the river.
behind my place.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's been washing for a while, so
Right.
that last one really exposed it,
it did,
so.
it did.
So by saying village staff to navigate the process, we wouldn't use them,
I'm not gonna
not
add
Harry and
Harry's vote.
awesome, because I would add.
It was- This is gonna be, it's gonna be a pain in the butt, as they all are, but it's a very simple project. They still have a bunch of hoops, but I feel confident with the stuff I've learned working with Perry that I can handle this one.
So that basically be wrapping the upstream side of that, to keep it from happening in the future.
Yeah, with some big stuff. Yeah, and a lot of it, like, kind of pointing upstream and, you know. Yeah, we get a whole plan.
Personally, not in favor of that. My property.
Yeah.
If you actually let that water flow across that bank and go right behind, you miss my house completely.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is that pole's at maximum distance. So it's moving, it's not a.
No, I know, no, I'm only,
Yeah, I'm just saying, we've looked at all the possibilities of doing it another way. The only way you could get around that would be to rewire all the way from. You know, all the way up. Clay Hill and around, and that would be,
Yeah,
and not, it wouldn't be covered.
protecting that pole is important.
Yep. The end of summer edition of the Village News went out in electric and water sewer bills last week. A copy is in this packet.
But while we're on Village News, I got a request from Billy Smith to say thank you very much. It was very nice, appreciated it. Good job.
Okay.
So they're gonna pass it on before I forgot.
Yep. Water and Light Garage Project update. Weston and Sampson, the Phase 1 ESA contractor, came last Thursday to tour the garage and take notes and pictures. They did a records dive at Municipal Vault, and the rest of the work on the ESA will be done at their office, and it should be completed in 3 weeks. AES, the architecture firm, awarded the project. We're gonna meet with myself, Nate, and LCPC tomorrow, to get a solid scope of work so they can begin the design process. Tori from LCPC is working with Rosemary and I, navigating the steep paperwork on the CDS grant finalization, as well as helping me massage the scope of the BGS MERP grant for the garage, which news just an hour ago is we got it. So the MERP, the people who came through the MERP mini grant did a pretty much a like click drop down menus thing on it. It was one size fit all, and they didn't really look at the heat system the way they should have, because the MERP grant is for energy upgrades, energy efficiency, and they just said, well, we'll just add some, you know, cold air heat pumps. It's like, in that space, that's not efficient, nor will it.
The recovery time is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
we're gonna go with cold air heat pumps in the crew areas, like the office and the break room.
Yeah.
And I got them to add advanced wood heat to the main hall, the main area.
Really?
Yeah, which is, you know, pellets, which it's a very good energy efficiency thing, for multiple reasons. One, you know, there's very little emissions. It's highly efficient. And the fuel comes from about a 50-mile radius. You're not spending trucking on the fuel, and it's Vermont jobs.
Yeah, to do a silo, you can do it, you can run it for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
See. All parts of this project are currently going forward at a very rapid pace. This should help make up for the oops by LCPC management and Rob Moore left. They told us, the customer, who our replacement PM was for this project, and all the upheaval, they failed to let the new PM know that we had a PM contract, or that he was the PM. So Alec has been helping us the past several months at the normal level of being an LCPC liaison due to this miscommunication. This got fixed a week ago, and the project is now moving very fast. FEMA update. All 2023 flood projects, other than the ongoing wastewater treatment facility ones, have been finished at our level. Many are obligated and awaiting FEMA to get more money in the disaster relief fund. The mitigation project at the fire department and the lower storage building are not yet obligated, still waiting CRC review and sign off. Once they are obligated, I'll get the contractors going on those projects. Just a reminder that the wastewater treatment project can only go 2 ways at this point. Either rebuild in place, upgraded to current codes and standards, and for flood mitigation, or move to the municipal building location. The previous consideration of locating at the future industrial park is no longer a factor, as the design engineer walked the property and found it unsuitable for our purposes. The village crew is forging ahead fast and getting projects done. Much electric road clearing has been done. Nate has estimated some jobs and is just awaiting payment to schedule them. Sidewalk and Cold Spring concrete is happening right now. And they're working with Dale Percy to disconnect our system from the Nadu well in the next couple of weeks, likely next week. All in addition to the obvious long-term issues is in addition to the multiple water leaks and power outages. The water leaks they fixed were obviously long-term issues, as water loss is now at 10%, which is almost zero when you account for old meters not quite logging all the gallons used. I've never seen a water system run below 15% loss. We are very tight. The crew will be working with a grant funded water valve exercising contractor next month, as well as one not grant funded that jets our sewer lines annually. The project to get our electric customer at the end of our line on Clay Hill returned to us was assigned to Ann, and she did not get the job done. I am re-energizing that effort and digging into it myself. Sarah Brace from VIPSA gave me some ideas and suggested contracts, and I'm taking it from there. I coordinated with the local loss control specialist, Larry Smith from Passive, to conduct what I call a faux shut inspection of our facilities and safety practices. This is basically a mock motion inspection through our insurer. We walked through the water light garage, wastewater facility, and municipal offices on August 29th. I'm happy to report that we found nearly no potential violations. Both Larry and I were very impressed with the safety culture and practices in our current operations. He will be sending me a report for a walkthrough soon. And finally, the cold spring is closed for repairs this week. The village crew busts up and removes the old crumbling floor and replaces it with a new one. I posted a notice last Thursday's FPF, and Nate hung signs with a schedule at the cold spring. It will be blocked off during construction, and the water will be turned off. They will also be repairing a 60-foot core section of Railroad Street sidewalk at the same time to save on concrete costs by not having short loads. The end.
So one question, last couple nights, street lights from Pearl to the Guion River Bridge. Are
Yes,
out.
yes, they were.
So,
It was part of the ongoing upgrade of the Main Street siphon.
Mhm.
And
I figured that's what
the
it
guy, the electrician tripped a breaker and didn't put it back on. They're on now.
okay, I kind of like it off, but. But no, that's very nice. That's awesome to get it back on.
Yep.
I have one thing, inventory system. I know we kind of tasked that with slow running. We asked Jeff to do it.
Mhm.
I know they've been really behind. Is that something we can start looking into somehow, just to start moving it forward?
Yep.
I know it'll take us a while, but just at least so we can see what's gonna match up with our system here.
Where. Yeah, we kind of stutter stepped that one a little bit because the VIPS small communities are all looking at a new billing software and want to see if it's going to integrate with that. The new software that'll be able to handle the what's the acronym for those new meters?
AMI.
AMIs, thank you.
And that's fine. I just don't want stuff.
'Cause we- Right now, the leading option is QuickBooks Online.
Yes, because you could, but any new billing system should have billing rates, items, inventory.
Right.
So,
I just want to be able to, I want to try to get the inventory to go between the
Right.
two.
Yeah,
right, so
I
on
agree.
my billing system for my business, I type in a 2x4 and it pops up with the price.
Right.
So I just update that every month or two through their programs in the local stores, so.
Yeah.
Odds are it's gonna have something, so I guess look for that before we look
Absolutely.
at the other QuickBooks section.
Yep.
Will the polls be open next week?
Yes.
People ask me.
Yes. It's right now, the schedule is to pour either Thursday or Friday.
Then it'll be closed for the weekend. Then back open, I believe.
Yeah, you'll at the very latest have it open Monday morning. Yep, unless, wait, I say that at the very latest, unless, gremlins,
who knows?
there's always gremlins.
Yeah,
There's still
if
operations.
it's raining hard, they won't be pouring it on the scheduled day. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
or there's an emergency water leak, takes them away, things happen.
I think it's supposed to be sunny for the rest of this week.
This
I don't
would be
believe
nice.
the weather be until I get up nowadays.
Yeah, I believe the weather rock.
Yeah. If it's swinging.
It's windy. There you go. It's
Yeah,
wet.
that goes up when it's nice down.
No, if the rock's wet, it's raining. If
Yeah.
it's dry, it's sunny. If it's swinging, it's windy.
Yeah. It's always right.
Always, 100%.
Oh, where are we next, Eric?
Wastewater, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm still reading. Operational status of the wastewater plant callouts, EDMR and WR 43 were submitted to the state. We held 64,000 gallons of Johnson's finest sludge to Morrisville for the processing for the month of July. Mowed and trimmed all plants and pump stations in the reservoir. We're continuing to dispose of the tainted alum from the flood by slowly dripping it into our influent stream. Performed and passed our permit proficiency testing for pH, soluble solids, and E. coli. So that's just proving that their lab work is quality work. They do that every year. Don Martin completed the mitigation work at River Road Pump Station. He raised the entire backboard and control panel, installed metal stairs to reach all the components on both sides of the structure. I'll add that it looks really good. Don's also started the mitigation of the siphon and control panel at Main Street Bridge. He raised everything up and we'll have a set of stairs so we can reach and service the panel.
Back onto the sludge really quick. We still get receiving our payments for that.
Well, they're still being obligated. Right now, there's a pause on anyone getting paid anything until Congress gives them more money.
Of course there is.
Yeah. Yeah. Operational status, water plants callouts. Monthly reports are submitted to the state. Coliform samples were negative. Rotated the pumps at Katie Wen. Tested for disinfection byproducts. Started the rehab of the Katie Wen pump house number 1. We ordered and received a lot of the fittings and pipe needed to consolidate all the service lines and meters. We hand dug the dirt floor out to see where all the service lines distributed from under the building. It's a mess of service lines going every which way. We tore out the ceiling to find 2 rafters rotted. We were replacing those. Tim is building the meter header system at the plant for an easier install. We're in the process of moving the electrical and pressure tanks from the existing well that is Katie Wen, so it'll be tucked out of our way. Pump house number 3 is a much easier project. We'll be working on that at the same time. We need to sleeve a few of the lines and raise a valve up 2 feet. We'll compact about 2.5 feet of sand and pour 4 inches of concrete floor to bring the finish height above grade. I anticipate being wrapped up by the end of October. So I'll add to that there will be 2 boil water notices for a good portion of that. Katie Wen,
The Katie system.
right?
Yeah.
Associated with taking it apart, put it back together. And
Right.
such. Yep.
So Dan reached out to me on Monday about contractors to do the slabs, and now they're gonna do it themselves. They decided, or
I'm not sure.
How big's the shed there? It's not that big, right?
12 by 12. I don't get that. Much bigger than that, but a lot of stuff in the way. It's terrible for it.
Yeah.
So he reached out and asked if I knew anybody. I gave him a couple names, but I just see it in here that they said that pour concrete and then they'll finish it to grade. So I didn't know if they were doing it now. That'd be awesome,
I'm
but
gonna talk
I
to,
wouldn't expect them to.
I'm gonna talk to Nate about that. See if they could, if they can get it framed up in time for Friday.
It's just the problem's gonna be the finishing part of it. If
It
you're
is.
on, you know, a decent job or whatever, it's a lot of pipes in the way, it's a lot of.
Yeah.
It's a virtual pain, but that's why he called me, if I knew any contractors, I gave him 2 names, so I didn't
Okay.
know if he reached out
Good.
or if he just changed his mind.
Yep.
Where are we putting out the notices for the boiled water?
Katie Wen. Just Katie Wen Park only.
No, are we gonna just go and put them on door or front porch for them or?
Front doors.
Front door?
Yeah, hand delivery.
Yeah.
Hand delivery, because. Yeah,
Just the affected lines.
FPF for a small area and it makes a lot of people in the wide area confused. Yeah. Right.
It would only affect them.
Yeah. Johnson Water Light Report. Electric Department, mutual aid for Hyde Park for 29.5 hours. Outage in Gould Hill due to Hurricane Debbie, 13 customers out for 3.5 hours. Outage on Sweetser Road due to Hurricane Debbie, 6 customers, 7 hours. Outage on West Settlement due to Hurricane Debbie, 12 customers, 30 minutes. Cut trees off lines at 5 different locations around the system, no outages. Moved equipment for lower storage for Hurricane Debbie. Outage at 1026 100C, tree in the line, 3 customers for 1 hour. Outage at Katie Wen East. Working on estimate for Johnson Well Mills major service upgrade. Did the easement for 552 Railroad Street. Transferred pole at 96 West Summit Road, that consolidated set. Starting to get mats and apprenticeships set up. Working on getting generators serviced, working on getting quotes for a hybrid little bucket truck, possible grant, as well as conventional bucket trucks. Voltage reduction test. Completed monthly meter readings, high-low check, substation check, and dig safes. Water and sewer, fixed curb stop at 170, 100C and at 43 Railroad Street. Shut off 43 Railroad Street and 170, 100C. Replace manhole on Memorial View Drive, raise valve boxes for Main Street paving project. Met with BCS at the building for the old fire station lot. Set up B-tumps for sewer line jetting and catch basin cleaning. Met with Percy that may do well for moving of the fire hydrant. General, pressure wash cold spring due to graffiti. Cut some brush on the sidewalks. Started pulling up winter sand for sidewalks. Extensive work with the town to install culvert and ditch to reroute the old culvert under the town garage. Cut broken leader out of maple tree by the monument at the town clerks. Change flags on the green and town clerks. Site prep for cold spring sidewalk concrete work to begin today. Safety, Jeff had welding class, NEPA safety meeting was on grounding. Did rubber gloves, sleeve swap out and shipped out for testing. Johnson Fire Department.
Hang on just one second there. A couple questions. Mutual aid for Hyde Park.
Yep.
Are they caught up on paying us? Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, so I was informed that it went a long time.
Some of it did. They had some and then there was a pause and the question about it, and they say those are all on, for the next meeting, which was I think last Monday or whatever.
Yeah, so it's just one of my concerns, because I knew they were like way behind for quite a while, so we want to make sure, if we do mutual aid for them, they have their standard grace period or whatever, but
Right.
the Village Johnson can't be footing 29 hours.
Oh yeah, and
So,
we got after it.
and then the other one is what did our half cost come for the culvert repair at town garage?
It's about $5,000.
So that's what the village's cost will be, is about $5,000.
Yeah.
And that was also agreed that it was just materials, that we were eating our own labor and they were eating their own labor, so that's not labor included.
Right, and by so far, you were expecting any additional costs coming in, or should that cover
That should
it?
be pretty much it.
Okay,
Unless the dirt that they've got stored test bad or something.
okay,
For our instructions of storing it.
Right.
gotcha.
Yep.
I just have one thing, and I hate to beat a dead horse with a stick here.
You want a pen then?
No. So foiled notice. I know the idea of it is the people that are only affected are the people that will put the notice.
Right.
Last time we did it, people that didn't get the notice just didn't know, did it blow away? Were we part of it? They don't know how we're thinking like that. And we get a lot of other people outside of the ones that we hang the tags on, wondering if it's there. So is there any way in the office we can just kind of keep track of seeing how many calls come in to ask, is it my water also? Is it my water? And if it is more than should be, then we can start doing it Front Porch Forum and things like that to alert more people. Because I understand where you're talking about confusion, but if we put it out in Front Porch Forum and say, hey, only Katie Wynn is the ones that have boiled water.
But it's not all Katie, one of them.
Or like pinpoint down to, okay, this street, this house, whatever it is. But if some people hear, oh, there's a boiled water and they're not 100% sure, they're gonna, okay, does it affect me? I just want to kind of keep track of that number to make sure, because.
We can keep an eye on it.
You might be able to-
I'm just saying, I mean.
And I understand.
I've
the
been
way
doing,
your
I've been doing,
thought
I've been
is.
doing, digs and boil waters for 30 years.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
when I put that out, I don't care how specific, and writing at a 4th grade level,
Yeah,
they
it's gonna-
still get confused and think, what do I do?
Yeah.
Nothing, it's not your area.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of calls from people that it does not affect.
Right.
And like I said, I do understand that. I just know the last time we got a lot of calls too. So it's just
But
like,
it wasn't planned like this one, right?
no, it was an emergency one.
Emergency,
Yeah,
so that's
right.
where it gets screwy. This is a planned, it'd be door to door, very select. So I
Yep.
and your
Yeah.
approach is 100% on,
Alright.
so.
You know, the other thing to do with that is to put it on the radio, put it on WLBB.
Well, that's what they're saying is they don't wanna do it at all. They wanna just do tags and that's it.
Right,
And
if
that's
you
where
tell-
my,
it's-
my
it's a-
issue.
But
I-
on
I-
the radio, they'll be specific, it's only they can
Doesn't
say.
matter.
it's
But
only
even when you-
Katie Wynn, not any.
But even when I make it super clear in writing, when they can read it at their own speed over and over. You still get
So
a,
what happens is somebody at Katie Wynn calls their neighbor at
Yeah, I
my
know,
house and
I know.
says, we have a boil water notice, and then
I
that
guess the-
person goes, oh, well, maybe I do too.
there's no perfect answer. And like I said, in, 3 decades of water experience. The keeping small ones in the specific area gives you much
Okay,
less.
same thing happened with our
You know.
property at
Yeah,
College Hill, we had that dug up.
Yep.
And the notice came to
I
what we
mean,
call
you-
the Victorian house, and then the other two houses up on the hill, like, all right, is that affected too?
yeah, you always get some people. Not the target area asking. But when you. Like, put it out on a wide platform, you get 5 to 10 times more of those people
So you're
asking.
saying it's better just to,
Try to keep
those
it, you
people.
try to keep it narrow.
yeah,
I mean, I've
Yeah.
tried that way, and it's just, your staff, office staff is just. Constantly feeling questions.
yeah, that makes sense.
So. My opinion in the social media is it's devil. So if you want, but I kinda agree. with
I
you.
get what you're saying, I mean,
So-
you're right, some people will ask, but.
So it seems how it's a
Many
planned one.
people will ask. if
Well, like I said, I
you
see
do
it both ways.
Yeah.
I just,
But you're on.
it's a lose-lose.
Keep doing that.
But let's see how it's planned one. So.
Yeah.
Do your best to keep track of how many calls come in, maybe
Yep.
inform Lydia and Marla that day that. Just to jot it down and get all around park. If you get 30 calls or something, maybe we should put it up. But we can look at it. Planned one would be a good gauge on it, but I agree, if you put out too much information, everybody gets
Oh,
worried.
yeah.
Johnson Fire calls, JFD responded to 9 calls, 8 during the day, 1 at night, average duration was 90 minutes. They were 2 vehicle crashes, 1 automatic alarm, 1 medical access, 1 odor investigation, 1 work detail. Boat motor repairs, 3 mutual aid, 2 were water rescue, and 1 was smoke condition. Staff, the average number of firefighters responded was 10, total hours of service is 133. The truck committee has received its first design packet. It's been sent back for changes and cuts. We expect a revised design packet within a month, and more importantly, truck and cab chassis specifications in the near future. We will present to the board as soon as possible.
I didn't, oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, he didn't put in there about the. Wheeler, so I don't know if you want to.
Sure, they conducted their auction. And their high bid was it 35 or 3,600?
It's over 3 years.
34.
$3,400, and they accepted that high bid, and they're gonna be signing a bill of sale. The old ATV that they replaced. So it's
I think it was a
2000.
500 cc,
2002,
2004, I think, something.
Yeah, it
yeah,
was,
it's old. Good shape,
I
but
was gonna
old,
say it's old, but can't have many miles on it,
it doesn't.
doesn't,
Yeah.
it's a very old new
and it's
rig,
undercover. so
Right.
Good shape.
it's a very old new rig.
I'm an avid ATV person, that ATV should have sold by itself for $1,500, but it included tracks and a trailer, so I
Right.
think they did well.
Yep.
And then the tracks are so specific back then that.
They're
Right.
specific only.
Yeah, the tracks only work for that thing.
Right, so if you got a 20-year-old traction, good deal, if you had a 20-year-old machine you need tracks for.
Right.
So in manager report, and I could have missed it, did you say anything about why we're pulling out of the industrial park?
You missed it.
Yeah, he
Okay.
just, well, he didn't,
So it
it's
wasn't.
not that necessarily pulling out, it's that FEMA in the state of Vermont said that it's not feasible and the
Well, no,
engineers.
our design engineer said it's just not a feasible site.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would require like 2, 3 different pump stations with backup pumps.
Well, it's just in the,
Millions and millions
well,
of
the
dollars.
biggest thing is the topography.
But the extra, the added pump
Bring up the
stations and
pumps, Get
stuff.
up there and then
And
trying
it's
to,
just-
trying to build a facility up there.
Trying to build on that slope.
Yeah.
With,
So
you know, with
raising
tankage
the-
and
And
all that
that's not
stuff.
doing a ground test to find out what's under the ground. So.
Right,
Raising the present one and the other possibility
right here.
is, oh,
We require movement of the municipal building or. And. Putting it right here. Which,
As of right now, we're looking at raising,
yeah,
Rosemary's done moving.
raising and a small relocation of it. From me and Jarek's kind of understanding of it, right?
Well-
Move the main building forward that little bit.
yeah, so the.
We don't have to get into
Yes,
details,
yeah,
because it's
yeah,
not
just give you
hard
a
facts,
quick
but
overview, the plan that the engineer presented, which I think it's a solid plan. Destroys the current control building. It's not made to current specs, it was, you know. All the insulation was blown out by the flood and the walls are cracked and, you know. So they would remove that building altogether. They would replace it with a smaller 2-story up control building. Basically where the office trailer was sitting when it was here.
Mhm.
And the SBR building would go up, you know, 3 feet, because it was only actually flooded by like 4 inches. And then they'd have a wraparound for other processes that were also raised up. And fire station would lose a little bit of lawn. Kind of in the back corner near the road, there'd be a small building with the inflow pumps.
Where that current manhole is, right?
Just inward of
Right there.
it, so it's high enough,
Mhm.
you know, in the grass.
And submersible equipment, because it's not to stay out, right?
no, it'd be high enough.
Yeah, it'll be up, it'll be up and be raised up enough that's out of the floodplain. There'll be all the controls will be up high. So it'll be a single,
Get to it, they can control it from there.
yeah, there'll be a single station desk with the SCADA program on it, so. You know, if you had a smaller flood, well, even a bigger flood, but you know, if you had enough flood, you couldn't access the plant. You can pull in there, change all the controls. And put it in storm mode, whatever you needed to do.
Right.
so you just need to have a dock and a boat too.
That
Yeah.
we took them down there last.
We got a high water ATV.
Yeah.
Which really sucks if it stays there, because we'd be losing out on millions on a floodplain restoration.
We took
Yep.
the crew and Kenny's phone down there last.
They
year.
did, that's right, I gave up my phone. Only because apparently mine was they told me mine was the only one that could fall in the water and survive.
We just knew it was expendable.
Okay, anything else, Eric?
That's all for that.
Okay, beautification committee.
So, yeah.
I know it was on the agenda for just the fall planting, but I was hoping to read something I wrote, if that's okay too. Good, okay.
So your floor.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm Adrian Parker, the new chair of the beautification committee. I just wanted to start out to say that the goal of the beautification committee is to improve the appearance of Johnson through gardening, public art, and well taken care of hardscaping. For instance, signs, benches, bike racks, pathways, etc. We do this through volunteer work, our yearly budget, donations, and grants. As we have seen through the statue pedestal incident, there is some work that needs to be done in improving communication with the beautification committee, the select board, and the village trustees. 2 ways we can improve is looking at what went wrong in the past and also trying to retroactively catch issues before they happen. In the instance of the statue pedestals, there were several mishaps in communication. First being that we were not made aware that we had to get approval on maintaining already established projects. Every year, the beautification committee plants at the Powerhouse Bridge, the Cold Spring, Railroad Street Bridge, and other areas. These aren't new projects, these are just maintaining old projects. The second mishap with communication was when the statue pedestals were considered an issue by the village. An email was sent from Ken, the village chair, to Eben, the chair of the select board, stating that we did not receive permission for the planters on the pedestals and that we had until the end of the day to move them. A way this could have been handled better is if this email had also been sent to the chair of beautification committee and maybe the previous chair of the beautification committee, since you have never spoken to the newest chair, me. Also, this tight deadline of 1 day, I don't understand the need for that. These planters sat this summer for 10 weeks with no issues. I don't see why they couldn't have stayed there, and you could have invited me to your next meeting for me to ask permission. I know there has been a rocky relationship with the village and the beautification committee, but I would like that to end today. I want to move forward after today with open communication with us all. Some ways we could do this is for the village to email us whenever you encounter an issue. Then we can work together to find a solution. Also, I'd like to have more clear guidelines. It would be helpful if the beautification committee had a clear understanding of what tasks require permissions and approvals. Then beautification committee can ask permission before moving forward. In addition, we would appreciate being invited to village meetings to share our progress and discuss future project ideas once in a while. Or I've even mentioned to the select board that maybe the village trustees and the select board could have a joint meeting every other month or so. That is just for committees to come to so that everyone is on the same page as each other. My assumption is that the village would still like our help in adding flowers and art to the Johnson Village with volunteer work, our town budget, and donations. But please let me know if I'm off base. We are a group of volunteers, and I feel like we are treated as a paid group. This is not the case. We do what we can in hopes of improving the appearance of Johnson. If you would like the beautification committee to not take care of maintenance of our projects, and you would like to hire a landscape group, we would agree to that with open arms. Then we could just focus on new gardening projects or other projects. I know to some this isn't a very important issue to even be discussing, but to quote a user on Front Porch Forum, we can't agree on flower pots, how can we agree on bigger issues? I think we all have the same goals in mind, but we need to get on the same page on how to accomplish them. And then I just have some questions for clarification, if you guys can answer them. If I can just go by one. I was curious what Eric can decide on his own without the board approval in regard to beautification committee, what Ken or the chair can approve on their own, and what needs the entire board's permission on.
Right, I'm Ken. Nice to meet you for the first time.
You too.
So, to answer your first question, Eric can decide on day-to-day processes with employees, staff, and utilities.
Okay.
The second question is, the chair doesn't need permission if no permission was granted to have something removed, because I do day-to-day process. The third thing is, it really comes down to your statement you just read, in my opinion, is putting the blame on the Board of Trustees. And the actual facts and the start of it all is the committee refuses to this day to still come in and ask stuff until they do a write-up in the paper. So my opinion is it has nothing to do with myself, Kyle, or you. It has to do with all other town committees come to this board and request to use town right-of-ways, properties, or buildings. Village, sorry. So that's the simple fact of the matter. Your past chair know it. I'm certain you knew it as being on the board, along with all the other members.
Okay.
Because this has been going on a long time. I'd also like to add, I've been on this board for a while, and the beautification committee never once requested to put anything on the pedestals. So I don't understand how it's an annual project when you haven't asked permission to do that. By asking permission, the same thing you're going to be doing to the town later to decorate their stuff. Suddenly you found it necessary to ask the town to do stuff. the constant pushback from this committee and this committee alone has aged on me heavily.
What do you mean by pushback?
Pushback by continuing to do as you please and not asking, coming in and begging for forgiveness and blaming the board. Hang on, I'm talking, please. So if you guys ever wanted to move forward, you should start by an apology, not to just me, but the entire village. Because you go on and on and on with using stuff. And again, this is my opinion. So anybody like that, anything?
When you're done, I get my 2 cents, so
I am done.
you're done, okay. What I'd like to see is just move forward from here, myself. It doesn't make sense to harbor on what happened in the past, right, wrong, who's right, who's wrong. I'd like to see a clean break. I mean, you now know the guidelines that if you're doing something on village property, that you need to come to Eric and or the board. Anytime you like them on our agenda, all you gotta do is call Eric and you'll be on our agenda. You're welcome to come this every month if you'd like, or as little as you need to get set up. I think majority of the stuff Eric can give permission to do this. I mean, I think beautifications are a great idea. I'd like to see it just stop, move forward, and let's do something positive. Does that make sense?
That's what I want as well. I don't think it was clear. So as I understand it, the flower planters on the pedestals, that was like a group effort with Johnson Works and Beautification Committee. I don't know. I don't even know if I was on the committee at the time with knowing if anyone got permission for that. But I think that it's not unless it's like impeding someone's safety or equipment on the sidewalks or something like that. I don't know why it couldn't just been like a email for us to communicate with each other.
Perhaps I wasn't clear. We all know, do you want to move forward and have a clean slate and just make things happen?
That's what I want, but I want to resolve past issues first for us to be able to move forward. And I mean, I'm still going to call out when I think something's not right.
Okay.
But I do want to move forward, and I want us to be on the same page of if we do come and we get permission for something, do we need to come annually to plant new flowers in it or something like that? I want answers to some of those kind of questions.
I think when you're putting in your request, you can say, this is an annual project moving forward.
Okay.
That's very clear. That means that we give you permission for that project, telling us that it's going to be an annual project.
Mhm.
You know, every spring, we're going to put flowers here. You know, if you change where you're going to put art there instead of flowers, that's a change.
Mhm.
So you wouldn't have permission for that until you came back to the board. If you say, we're gonna put a basket of flowers on this pedestal, and we go, sure, that's an occurrence.
Mhm.
So I think if you're specific in your intent, we can be very specific with our direction.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'd also add that each board speaks for themselves, so there will be a new board in April. No board has to abide by any board's decision, so that's where I could see that there could be a problem with perpetual acknowledged.
I'll disagree in one respect to that, Kenny, is that if the previous board has authorized an annual event, if a new board takes up and finds that event to be something that they disagree with, then they have the obligation to bring it up and change the previous board's decision. So that would be my understanding of it, right? So as long as it's authorized for an annual event, then that moves forward with a new board or an old board. But if the new board finds an objection to it, then they have to change that.
It's much like a presidential executive order. You know, President A makes an executive order, it stands
Until it's changed.
until someone comes in and acts it.
Yeah.
Subsequent president.
So that would be my understanding, just to move forward.
Okay, and then so do you want me to write up a list of all the annual planting we do, so for you to approve that all in one go, for us to have permission.
I think that would be awesome.
Okay,
I think that would be, first of all, it's in writing, everybody sees it, everybody has time to look at it. If you get that email to Eric, or distribute it to us, we'll have time to review it, go look at the sites, if we so desire.
Run it by the foreman to make sure it's not a maintenance issue.
Exactly, so we can cover all of our bases, and then an item by item.
okay,
So, number them, so that each item is a separate thing, so we can remove a line instead of removing the whole project. Does that make sense?
yeah, the only thing that, I might see as an issue is that there are some gray areas when we aren't sure what areas are owned by town or a village, or if they're jointly owned.
If you ask, that can be very easily cleared up.
Okay.
Eric will either have the information, or he can direct Nate to clarify that. So,
Okay,
so in those cases of confusion, it's very easy. It's a simple phone call or email away, and the answer will be given to you.
okay, and so maybe we could just put this in a MOU, so that it's like binding or whatever.
If it's presented to the board and we vote on it, it's
Mhm.
binding. It doesn't have to be an MOU.
Okay,
So, anything you submit to us, as long as we're voted on those items. I just want to, if you give the specific locations of what your intent is, then we'll have the chance, like you said, talk to Nate, make sure it's not impeding any utilities and stuff like that. And we'll also know at that point there, if it's a joint project, that you need to get board permission from both boards. Or which is very little of the area I think you're talking about would be one or the other, not both.
okay.
So,
Mhm.
so is that clear as can be?
Yeah, and so some of the things I sent over on my list, just if we can get so that we can get approval today, so that we can do planting for fall, was mums in the Cold Spring planters, corn stalks around streetlight posts, dividing perennials at the Cold Spring to fill in some areas. And then if possible, I would like the flower pots to be moved back to the pedestal so we can put mums in those, because we bought some mums that were on sale to put in those.
What would the board like to do?
So which somebody said pedestal,
There's 3, I think.
okay, which 3 are you?
There's one, next, huh? One near Maple Fields, one, on the right side of Main Street, like by Jennison Cafe, kind of
Mhm.
like past there, and then one like right diagonal from that one on the other side of the street.
On the River Street side?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
And there's currently nothing on those pedestals.
No. Mhm.
I'll make a motion that we approve those plantings for the fall.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
But this is one of those instances I was talking about where this is a one-time request.
Yeah,
So just to be clear, because we don't want, I try to be as clear as I can.
yeah, that's great. I'll make a write-up of each season and what we would do in each season, and then I'll send that over for like a full approval of the whole list. And then if we have like new projects, I'll just ask to be put on the agenda for future
That sounds
times.
appropriate.
Okay.
I would suggest that, if we're gonna put you on the agenda, make sure it's a meeting that you can attend, or someone on the committee that can speak for you,
Okay,
as chair. Because if we have questions and we can't get an answer, then we have to disapprove. I personally will not approve anything if there's questions specifically about something and no one's here to answer the questions.
okay,
That's just me. I mean,
okay. Okay. I just want to make sure we're on good terms starting forward and we can start a clean path.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
all right.
No. No. Motion fails.
Who voted no?
I voted no and BJ voted no.
Okay.
I don't know what this green space.
So
I'm gonna.
maybe come back with another plan and we can go from there.
Well, no, we'll move forward with that question.
Yeah, next discussion is the cupola repairs on,
I would like to say, the beautification committee has done amazing things for this town. And the fact that you do not want to put flowers out that welcome people into our town is, it's mind-boggling.
No one said we're not doing that.
Pardon?
No one said we're not doing that.
By the time you guys turn it over.
We have something on the agenda for later on for
So
that.
anyway, what I wanted to say was. I run 4 Airbnb houses. I have a lot of people coming through this town that spend a lot of money here. They comment on this community over and over and over again, how cute it is, how nice the people are. They love Jennison, they love our flowers, they love the Cold Spring. We need to welcome them. They put a lot of work into it. They water every single day to make those flowers and everything stay nice. The fact that they're vandalized, which is beyond, I don't understand that either. I'll drive through the covered bridge almost every day. And it'll be okay until somebody makes a comment, then all of a sudden flowers are pulled out of it. And I don't understand.
Well, there's other things besides that too. Like I can tell, I don't know about the rest, I can tell you why I voted the way I did. We are looking about doing possibly, we don't know, another committee. Dealing with the village for the same exact thing. We do know that the beautification committee had been overwhelmed with water and stuff. Kyle has specifically told us that. That's why she couldn't do the flowers at the municipal building. She said that they didn't have enough people, they didn't have enough this and that, so we had to have our crew do that. So we just think, I think, if we get our own green space committee to do this, we're still putting flowers out, we're still bringing in that vibe, we're just cutting back.
But you have a committee.
I think that's kind of creating a.
But we've also been told they're overwhelmed with this, they need. They didn't, well, they didn't do the municipal building because Kyle's words were.
Well, GiGi was doing this.
No, we asked
Only
Kyle.
all right, hang on, I'm gonna put this to a
Kyle said
bed.
no.
So the board made a decision, if you'd like to get back on agenda, you can ask again.
What was the?
Excuse me, I'd like to poll the board, who voted yes, who voted no?
We now sit, this, I voted no, BJ voted no, Steve and Will voted yes.
Right.
Correct, you defeated it.
So we're gonna move on. Thank you for your comments, Linda, and if you'd like to get back on the agenda with another plan. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, we're gonna discuss the cupola repairs to municipal building. So the comments about the cupola getting repaired has been on a joint meeting subject several times.
Okay.
We put in, I want to say $10,000 for just that last year, or was it more? So we put in $10,000 to move on that, so that is just for last year's budget. So I would like Eric to reach out to the select board and see what their plans are and what they were thinking for repairs. My understanding is the roof and some siding repair, just off the leaks. Yeah. So that's what was on my thoughts about that, and that's why we worked together and put the money into the building and ground
I
repair.
didn't realize the repairs hadn't been done, so.
So were we thinking that was gonna be,
Sorry.
that 10 would cover half of it and
No, I think it was just a start, so that now we have 10,000 in there and we can work with. the select
we
board.
don't know yet what it would cost.
When all the other building was done, that was supposed to have been done, and I guess the guy passed away, so it didn't get completed. So I don't know exactly if there was funding for that at the time, if we.
Pandemic happened.
So,
We've never gotten an estimate then for what it would
No.
cost.
well, yes, the guy was supposed to do it when the original work was, but he died, so
Oh,
that was 5 years ago,
that's,
so that is.
that's a good excuse.
It's starting way old. So the roof needs replacing, the flashing and the siding in that area to stop it from leaking. I know they're gonna push for the clock repair, but I think if we preserve the building first.
I think keep the building from rotting out is the highest priority.
And then we can
get
work to a
on
proper
that later.
repair down the road.
Yeah.
I understand that 10 grand isn't gonna do it all, so.
No, but we don't know, we never can raise the money, so.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should move forward on finding where the town's at.
See,
Okay,
And it doesn't require a joint meeting, that's just
I'll
a
draft a letter, run it by and see what you think.
Yep, sounds good.
perfect, thank you.
Discussion of possible future DocuSign for the village operations. BJ?
You don't use DocuSign now?
no. And I think we should be. I think it might help you guys in any situation, especially with all the stuff we sign and everything.
A lot of stuff that goes over through email that's gonna come back signed also, it'd be easy to use, right? Because you send a DocuSign link, they sign it, and then it's.
So DocuSign, you're talking about specifically for the trustees to be able to use.
Or I mean, basically our manager to use.
I mean, if it's primarily for your use, what's your thoughts?
Tools are tools. I mean, there's times it'd be useful. I mean, I already use it with state and federal anyway, because they have it.
Right,
So they send it, I DocuSign it, send it back.
right.
Cause we do send things out like that gentleman that we wanted to sign that paperwork. I can't mention his name and stuff, but things like that.
For the
we can
lane.
use it for, correct?
So
And how
I'm looking
expensive
to your
is it?
guy, is it a software thing or is it a
I think it's just-
licensed software we have to sign up for or?
I think it's.
Purchase program that's licensed, yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's pretty cheap. I mean, you'd have to look it up, but it's been around for a while, so I think it's on a pretty cheap, so probably like $40 a year or something stupid like that. I don't know. I haven't looked at the prices, but I can't imagine it'd be too expensive.
So just to use a quick example, Eric could have a document that the chair needs to sign, and he could send it right to me, on my phone, and I could pick it up and sign it.
I'm very familiar with DocuSign.
No, but
I'm just curious as to the benefits, if it's gonna benefit Eric at all or Rosemary or, you know.
Did you ever end up looking into the cost of that at all, BJ, or?
No,
Discussion.
no, it was just something that I thought, I know we were trying to kind of bring ourselves to the 21st century.
Do you wanna look at a price and then bring it back to the next meeting?
I can do that.
Yeah, almost all attorneys' offices, real estate.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean,
All-
I use it all the time.
But the cool thing is all those places have it and they send you it and you sign.
Right.
Yeah.
And because the reason I was thinking is.
We're just talking about being able to originate it ourselves.
Yes.
Right, so we'd send to people so they can sign.
We've had an incident recently where we're dealing with a customer and we needed something signed and it was miserable.
And now he lives in Canada, so that would have been an easy fix.
And that's why I was it
Yeah.
was kind of brought into my head
Okay.
for that.
Yeah,
but,
check
like,
the
it can't be
price.
the only one.
I'd say check the price, bring it
Yeah,
back to us next
it'd have to be
meeting.
pretty cheap because we don't have a whole lot of volume on that.
Agree, agree.
Yeah.
If it's something like.
But we won't know if it's volume driven
Yeah.
prices or not until he
Right.
looks at it, so.
But I'm just saying, we don't have enough volume to justify a large price.
Of course, yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
So you're gonna look into it?
Yep.
Like,
I will.
it's on your agenda for next time.
Perfect.
Discuss Mead Creek statute and future processes set for village. That's BJ on the statute.
So it's annually is pretty much the amount of times we would use it, probably like $10 a month. Standard is 25, business pro is 40.
All right, you wanna move on to the Main Street statute?
Yeah, sorry, there is a statue, on a pedestal up by, the library.
Sonic Temple.
It's on Temple.
That's on, that's on the temple. I would like to try to get the creator of the statue in and talk to him about maintenance and, if he would like to have it there for longer, just to like maintain it and have him do a request, so we can give him a request to have it a certain amount of time, just so we have it on record
I
instead of
believe
it being
it's a
a,
she.
or she, I apologize. Just so it's not a free floating thing where no one knows anything about it. So I'd like to just be able to reach out to her, ask her if she'd like to come into one of our meetings. Talk to her about just maintenance and stuff like that, and would she even like to keep it there for a longer period of time? If so, getting permission, just the basics to cover our.
So this was VSU, Vermont State University, and Johnson Works project back in the day.
But it is a local artist that's still around.
Yeah, great. And I would say, I mean, I would be okay if she spoke with Eric about her intent instead of having to come to a meeting at 6 o'clock on a Monday morning. You know,
I'm fine,
You know, I mean, you're saying come and talk to us. I would be okay if she came in to Eric and said, I'd love to leave it there for 10 more years. The rust is the part of the art, you know, I don't know, but whatever it is. If she wants to come talk to us, awesome. I just don't want to pigeonhole her into a come in at 6, you know, talk. to us.
and that's fine, we just need something to be able to vote on and get it. Kind of approved, that's the way I'm pretty much looking at it, because you just can't.
And
Like we ask other people.
Yeah,
to
no,
vote,
absolutely.
we gotta-
And you know, at the same time, if she has other projects she'd like to display,
Yeah.
you know, we have other pedestals, so.
So my suggestion
that might be
was-
something else.
Beautiful location. You just can't see it anymore because of all the tree branches.
Yeah, it's under-
So
Oh,
Have you researched the origin of the statues that are here in the village?
the one,
And what the process was to get them here?
the one on the one we're talking about by the Masonic Temple.
Any
Is
statue.
is there any other statues in the
It
village?
was a process of beautifying again before your times,
Well, there's,
of inviting people to have pieces here in the village. Have you checked back to find out what that process was and what the background is on it before you make a decision on talking to the person again?
The process was Johnson Works had a collaboration with Vermont State University,
Okay.
and they came and requested it to be there. That's
Then
the
why
process.
is there a question of being
Because
not kept there?
it's not a question of
It's
it not
not.
being kept there. We haven't heard from the owner in 15+ years. So we're just trying to figure out if they want to keep it there, if they would like to relocate it, if they'd like to add more. We just,
Was there an agreement as to the maintenance of it?
I'm going with, that would be a Rosemary question, because that was the
Nothing
Main
defined.
Street project and there's nothing really records.
of course, when I was on the board back then, when the Main Street Committee and all the whole project went through there, I think that the intent of the pedestals was to do kind of a rotating art type thing, or that was the hope anyway, is that someone would put an art project there and they'd leave it there for a while, and then someone else would come in and say, hey, let's put mine there. And I think what happened is that just never came to fruition. So I think what Kenny's trying to do is just reach out to a lost artist and see if they want to, you know, if there's something we do to clean it up, make it more visible, if there's something other art she wants to bring in, you know, because we do have those pedestals sitting there. So if she's still an artist and local, you know, I personally like to see something else brought into another pedestal.
Or move it more visible.
Yeah.
Up under the tree.
Yeah, so I don't think it's an attempt to try to remove it. I think it's more a matter of just touching base and seeing maybe if we can re-energize this project and you know, and honestly, the condition of it right now, I kind of forgot it was even there. So, you know, maybe there's some way to,
And that was our reason.
and I'm not sure if that's the intent of the artist. So I'd like personally to find out if that finished project the way it is right now was the intent of the art project itself, or if, you know, it's been so long and if there's, you know, wants to spruce it up or bring another project. So I don't think it was a matter of his intent was to, and it's not meant to speak for you, but it's not meant to clean house. It's a matter of trying to reinvigorate that project.
And with the pedestal starting to chip on that? No.
One of the thoughts that has been nagging me is you are village trustees, you live in the village, but you are also Johnson residents.
Correct.
And I'd like to see a little more cooperation on or understand that there's more cooperation. That you as village trustees still want the beautification, et cetera, of Johnson as a whole.
Oh, absolutely.
And guess what? The publicity you're getting in the newspaper does not show that. And it doesn't reflect well on Johnson.
But we
as
can't
a
control very few individuals, their opinions. We cannot control that. We cannot please everybody, unfortunately.
whole.
I wish we
You
could.
know, was one that made the comments in this last article,
The what?
in the News and Citizen.
I don't think you were.
The lady that was just sitting here, correct? The one that was never met me until just tonight that called me mentally deranged. So the fact is that we did nothing. The beautification committee just needs to ask permission to use village property, just as any other town committee does. Any resident would have to do, any other entity. Because when the village allows something, they assume responsibility of it. So we can't assume responsibility without, excuse me?
What need to clarify with her for sure, what is village and your decisions only, and what is a combination of town and village cooperation?
Yeah, and I think when I spoke to her, that was one of my intents. To make sure that, you know, if we get item by item, then we'll definitely be able to, and other than the municipal building and the town garages. There's nothing else that's really a joint property, so that makes it very clear, but obviously I can see where it can be.
My concern is where the flowers were. What did they hurt?
I don't disagree.
The permission.
I think the biggest thing that I'm hoping to do from this meeting with everybody is to move forward and go in a positive way, and I'm confident we can achieve that.
Well, I give you credit if you can do it.
I
really.
I honestly think that once,
This town for 8 years. I don't know. You younger fellows.
I've only been here 60, so.
So good.
I know.
You know, it's discouraging to see, have to read about Johnson.
The
In
bad
the paper.
publicity
It is. I'll also say it's very discouraging to see somebody that doesn't know me make comments about a chair and then put the blame on this board when the sole blame resides on that board because they've continued.
No, you know better than
They
that.
were there all summer.
You-
They were there all summer.
Without permission, Linda. I don't want to get into it anymore. That subject matter is over. So we'll move on.
I think if we,
Yeah,
if
We do need
we
to move on.
we gotta cut bait. And start fishing new holes,
but
because
it can't be swept under the rug either. You know, things like this are, because then rumor control just goes
if
crazy,
you,
but.
personally, I don't worry about what other people think, what people say. I think you know that. If you don't,
Yeah.
you're not paying attention.
No.
So
And I hate to say
I
it.
think we can beat this horse and it's just gonna go back and forth, or we can try to make a break. And make good from here on. And that to me is the best way forward.
Agreed.
So right now you're talking about putting statues on pedestals.
I
That's what our conversation just now was about.
think what we're talking about is reaching out to the only artist that has anything on a pedestal.
What they were originally for, and trying to revive that back to bringing art back to the community.
That's all well and good, but those pedestals are currently empty when they weren't empty a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Now you're talking about.
But you know, Linda, you've been on this board, you know, people have to come for permission too.
I
And you can't just we can't have somebody come and put something on a pedestal and be, well, when no one noticed or really paid attention to it, or they get to keep it there.
All right, I'm gonna bring us back in order here. We've carried on long enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For coming to the meeting.
Oh, you can consider yourself Johnson resident as well.
As well.
We do. We absolutely do.
Okay,
We're gonna do with that statue. Someone's gonna try to find who it is and.
Eric, you already pretty much know who it is, right?
Yeah.
You already
Yes.
know who the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got she was copied in an email.
yeah, she works at Johnson State College. So.
Awesome.
I've got her email address.
Okay.
And I would actually, that would be kind of nice. People kind of bring some kind of art and stuff.
Well, we were on the board when they did the art in front of the. I don't even know who did it, in front of the coffee shop. They did these big wooden art things. They did them on the corner of the railroad street by coags.
Wooden art?
It was like this, yeah, not wood, but it was out there art. But somebody was doing that, and you must have been on the board.
I don't remember the wooden art, but
It's,
when the whole Main Street project went on, I was on the
a lot
board.
out there that we we're doing rotating art.
Yeah.
This was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
15.
Okay. So,
Oh, we have an executive session next. So,
What about, there's this, the green space?
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah, sorry about that.
so, all right, so the green space thing, so. GiGi obviously got done for her reasons. As mentioned earlier, she was part of making the patio out here presentable. My understanding was that the beautification committee said that there were had too many irons in the fire to be able to do that project. So she took that over and I think she did a pretty good job with it. We had a half a day labor into that, I think.
Yeah, Lydia helped, the two of them worked together.
Yeah, and then they came down and helped with that.
I did something.
So anyway, so I messaged with her briefly, couldn't talk her into staying on the board. But I told her I appreciated the work that she did with the beautification portion of the village municipal property. And with the beautification committee having said that they were too stretched too thin to be able to do the municipal building, I didn't know if we could start a green space committee, if she'd be willing to take up the lead on that now that she's off the board. Not that she couldn't do it, she's on the board, but now she has more free time. And initially she's interested in the idea and moving forward with that possible position. And then my thought is this, is that if she can take chair position of this position, whether it's just her, whether she gets some other people to help her out and stuff like that, present to the board areas that could use some beautification or some green spaces that could use some whatever it is that her and her committee decides to pick up. She can work with the beautification committee as a liaison from the board to be able to implement some of their ideas and some of their thoughts and ideas. So that way there we have that village board instead of a town board, and that works in collaboration with the beautification committee. That would be my thought. And to figure out, present it to the board and see if that's something that we're willing to entertain.
I have no problem with it.
Why doesn't GiGi just join the beautification? Then it's all one.
She don't like
no
Kyle.
volunteer. Pardon?
She don't like Kyle.
Everybody's gotta get over this craziness. This is.
Well,
nuts.
after you saw what was just in the paper, it's hard to get over that.
All right.
But anyways,
Yep.
New here.
There's another committee doing the same thing.
But we're
Actually, no, we'd start a village committee,
We
that's
start our own
the
committee.
town's committee, that's not the village.
And my intent would be that they would work with the village and the town would work together on this committee instead of having, a town authorized,
I said, good luck with that. The way things. are
I
going.
say the village, I say we do a committee.
So I mean, with that kind of attitude, that's exactly what we're gonna get. So I'm talking about trying,
That's why they came here. They're town,
they're a town committee.
They're a town committee.
they're actually a town committee.
Yes,
Their
absolutely.
tax funding comes
So
from
they
the
get,
town.
they get funded through
From the
the town, not, the village doesn't give them any money.
We do give them money.
$500 a
That's
year,
what I thought.
and
That's what I thought.
But
for the last 3 years, they haven't used it.
yeah, and also when we asked about the municipal, and this is I can give you my reason, I can't give you a bad.
Yeah,
When I asked Kyle specifically about the municipal building, because it was looking bad out there. She said it wasn't on a priority list because we did not go halves with the town on a gardener. So it wasn't on her priority list. And to
oh,
me,
that's
this,
right, they pay someone to plant those flowers.
to me, this is the heartbeat of the town and village, like, this is more important than the bridge or other places, to me, again. So for us to have, so we had our village crew come in. What?
I said, people don't drive up and then out of here. all-
People drive by, we should
They
not
drive
have
by,
this,
oh.
we should not have this place looking like
I thought Marlo did this, Marlo always planted.
years ago. It's a long time
Anyway,
ago.
that's.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're still on the beautification committee conversation,
like to
and that's
see-
not where we're at,
I would
so.
like to see our committee, and we'll figure out ways to do it, whether we have to utilize. Cause we only have very few spots, you really think about this, we have this, which is joint, we have the Cold Spring, we have Main Street, and I think that's really basically what we have.
Yeah,
Even if we have to utilize our crew on maybe some downtime or whatever for.
What's that?
But, you know what I'm saying?
But again,
We didn't ask you
There's
for
different,
input.
there's different options or avenues that I would like to see us be a standalone, have a standalone, green space committee.
All right, so what I would like to see happen here, Will, is if you could reach out to RD and you can come up with an actual plan on how to do this.
Sure.
Would that please?
Yep.
And we can take this up.
we'll
next.
we're presenting with the.
Yep,
with
is
the
that
plan.
okay with the board?
Yeah,
I have one more clarification about the Cold Spring. So the green space committee would take over taking care of the Cold Spring flowers and all that stuff that's there.
it's in the village, right? I think it's the village.
Okay, we just asked was for me to get with GJ and make a plan.
But
So-
you said the Cold Spring, the front of this.
But he's saying as far as what we have for property, that he's just listing off the property, not, and there's no intent of taking over or we'll work on that for the next meeting.
Walking down a slippery slope,
I don't think so.
I'm
Village tenant separate.
only because of what they've already done with it.
right, and that's what I'm hoping to
That's
do.
slippery.
That's why I'm hoping to do a collaborative effort.
That would be nice.
So
So if we can achieve that, again, we are now in a better place.
Yeah, I agree.
Just to be clear, there's two locations beautification committees worked on village property. That's the Cold Spring, and they put stuff on the pedestals without asking.
And they plant in front of, they have the flower bed in front of the cannabis shop, whatever that is.
That's not the villages. So I don't
From
know.
the
They
cannabis
pay-
shop.
They pay a gardener, you know where,
You're talking about for the Mark Wilbur's place?
yeah, that guy that plants all
Yeah.
this, I don't know who he is, but.
Scott?
Yeah, I think whatever. his
No.
name is, Peter,
It's
Peter, thank you.
whatever
Yeah.
it is, but don't they pay him to plant that?
I thought someone was
section?
paying him.
No,
for
they
that.
give their grants.
Oh, they give grants.
Yeah, they give away grants instead of using it for flowers.
They can.
But Peter works hard on it.
I just made a statement of the actual truth.
He doesn't use any power equipment. I've had my rototiller at my house, my dude, I'll till this up for you.
And I don't understand, I still don't understand, that plot is not, is separate, it's privately owned?
No, that's village right of way,
Oh,
and the property owner can maintain their portion of the green space.
Oh, so that's how come Mark.
So basically, we pay taxes on it, but the state owns it because it's the right of way. The state owns it right up to my porch on my house on Main Street.
Yeah.
But we're taxed on and have to, let the village maintain that portion of it, but.
And the village is the permit holder of the right of way for our utilities and stuff.
So with that, all I can offer is my honest opinion and my honest hope that this is where we go. So, whether it goes that way or not, I'm not gonna lay odds on it. But what I'm saying is that.
You know what? Everybody's gotta work together.
But if we don't try, it will never happen.
I try 24/7. And get shut down. And I get shut down when I have volunteered to help. On different things, and I'm told I do not want your help.
I've never told you that.
No, you haven't, you said, no, how about this and this and this and this and this, and I always go, okay, I will. I'm always jumping everywhere, but I've been told 3 or 4 times, no, I don't need your help, so good luck. With putting this all,
I'll try.
I know.
That's all I do.
Count on it, Will, you're in charge.
That's all I can do.
Okay, I moved into executive session as allowed by 1 BSA section 31383 for evaluation of a public official.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
In the